What's up, good people? You are back for another episode of the Dre Morset podcast, and I'm your host in the flesh. On Mother's Day, I am Dre Morset, and listen, this is going to be an episode that I'm gonna take my time. It ain't gonna be long, but it's gonna be very detailed, very transparent. I noticed that a lot of people they don't be as transparent about their lives as they do when they talking about other people's lives. I see a lot of people out here who claim to be relationship specialists. Everybody's talking about relationships. Everybody giving their advice on relationships, but never really knowing the status of their relationship or if they are in a relationship. So today I'm going to be as transparent as I've ever been on any show to try to hone in on some things that a lot of us men don't pay attention to when it comes to our relationships. On this episode, I want women to really listen, but I want men to pay attention. Um, so just understand this. I don't know everything. I know what my experiences are. I know from what I see, what I read, and what my experiences have been to be able to tell you the stories that I'm about to tell you. So don't claim to be some relationship guru. I'm the last person that is relationship guru, period. So I just want to share a story about my life and what I'm experiencing to probably help people get an understanding of actually give people a chance to look at themselves in the mirror. A lot of people don't look themselves in the mirror and they're always doing this. They're always pointing the finger at somebody else, but refuse to revert back and point the finger at themselves. And those who find the courage to look at themselves in the mirror and begin to uh, evaluate themselves and then operate and things about themselves to make themselves better. I applaud you because a lot of people don't have the courage to look at themselves. A lot of people refuse to look at themselves in the mirror and say, man, I need to do X, Y, and Z, regardless of how it shows or how many people it affects. So that's just where we at, man. So I hope a lot of women pay close attention to this, and I hope a lot of dudes really listen to this. Before I begin, I want to thank everybody who continue to watch and who continues to comment on these episodes. I get a lot of different stories when people come into the shop and they're telling me about what they felt about a certain episode. The last episode that I just had was called "You Don't Have the Right," and I was talking about basically just because of somebody's skin color, because somebody's sexuality, or because somebody does whatever they do, it shouldn't have an effect on you. As long as it doesn't have an effect on you, interfere with your life, interfere with your family, interfere with your finances, interfere with your job, or whatever somebody's doing, if it don't have an immediate effect on you, you shouldn't even worry about it. You should let that person be the best person that they could be within their own skin, and you shouldn't have a problem with it. So a lot of people thank me for that episode, and I got a lot of feedback for that. But what I'm not getting is people continue to subscribe. And that's the thing. We want people to subscribe so this show can get better. You know, I look at these episodes and I see where I can get better. I look at these episodes to see how I can slow down how I'm talking, what I can put across to people, what I can help them understand, what I can help myself understand. So, people, what I would like for you to do, if possible, share these stories and episodes with other people. Subscribe, because I had a couple people saying, "Yeah, man, I like your episodes, Dre." And I say, "Well, have you subscribed yet?" Nah, Nah, but I'm gonna hit it. Well, what's the deal? What's the deal? I don't understand that. If you like the content, what you're seeing, it costs you nothing. It don't cost you 1 cent to say bling and push the subscribe button, and then so you can get full access to when these episodes drop. And again, I want to thank everybody who continues to engage in these episodes and continue to conversate and leave comments. I really appreciate you, and I will forever, forever appreciate you. As long as I continue to do this, as long as I continue to bring episodes, you will always be uh, appreciated for even watching and engaging in these episodes. So enough with all the talking, enough with all the whatever. Let's just get started. I haven't given this a title yet. So I really don't want to say what the title is, and I probably won't give it a title until I finish editing the show and put it out on YouTube. But what I want to tell people a lot is this: a lot of guys in relationships, and this is just what I'm experiencing and what I've seen. A lot of guys in relationships think that they're doing the right thing with their woman in their relationships. They may be thinking, oh, I do this, I pay bills, I do that, this, that, and the other. But we leaving out such a large portion of emotions. How do your woman feel about, you touching her, you expressing how you feel. There's a lot more to a relationship than just paying bills. I had a lot of guys say, man, I take care of everything. But I'm sure there's some things that your woman has not conveyed to you that you're not doing. Um, and I found that out the hard way, man. So, let me just tell y'all this. About 4.5 years ago, I met the woman of my soul. She was the woman of my soul, my soulmate. Like I never thought that that was really a true thing. To meet somebody who is everything that you're not, so you can, everything that you're not, so to help you be everything that you need to be in your life. And my relationship, the woman that I was in relationship with, she was everything that I wasn't. I had an issue with family. Like, I had issues with my father. My mother had passed on 20 years ago. I had issues with just living in the moment. Um, Issues with being happy, just being true happy with everything. I've been truly blessed with a lot of stuff, and I make sure I try to bless everybody else. But a lot of times, I don't come across as if I'm happy when I was in my relationship. Not because it was in nothing going on, but because I just wasn't conveying that. Um, she was very she was very affectionate, and a lot of us guys, we go through stuff in life that we harbor, and I noticed that I've harbored on to so many things that made me not affectionate. There's a lot of relationships that I've been in. I've only been in two, three solid relationships, one marriage. A lot of relationships that I was in didn't require for me to say, they didn't tell me, oh, I need you to touch me here. I need you to tell me you miss me. I need you to explain to me how you feel about me. No relationship prior to the one that I was in required for me to do certain things that real women required. See, a lot of us are in relationships that, as long as you're given sprinkles of affection, sprinkles of, you doing this, of just I'm paying bills, I kiss her, I tell her I love her and whatever. As long as you give them sprinkles, a lot of women are okay with that to some degree. But a lot of guys like myself was incapable of, not I don't want to say incapable, damaged to a degree that prevented me from just doing these things naturally, and it began to affect my situation. Um, I went through a lot. My mother was the best mother ever. She gave me and my brother a wonderful home, a wonderful environment. I had my grandmother and my aunts and uncles. We were the only grandchildren, so we were spoiled. Rock. We had everything we wanted. And when I graduated, I didn't know what I was gonna do. So, long story short, my mother said, "Hey, you got to figure out what you're gonna do. You coming in and out, you staying all out hours of the night and being gone for days, and then coming home and you're not really doing what you're supposed to do. You're gonna have to figure it out." So one day I came home and the phone was ringing off the hook with girls, and she was like, "I'm tired of this. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. You're gone all the time. You ain't working. You out here hanging out, doing whatever. Just whatever." But she didn't tell me what she was gonna do. So when I decided to go back to hanging with my friends, I got a phone call over my boy's house, my boy Brooks, and it was my brother. He said, "Man, you can't come back home." I said, "What?" He said, "Mom changed the locks, and she said you couldn't come back home." Now, in my mom, like, nah, mom ain't gonna do nothing crazy like that. She ain't no way in hell she gonna let me be out here at 17 years old and knowing damn well I ain't got no. I haven't been taught how to fish. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been taught how to fish and make a living or get reels, feed myself because I've been spoiled. I think when I tried to come back home and I seen my mother was so cold, I'll never forget the time that kind of that I remember was I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like my mother was so cold. I remember being dropped off by one of my friends, and my mother was on the patio in the backyard. She was on the patio with her friends. And as I'm walking up, she says, "What are you doing here? You can't come back here. So I don't know why you here." And she said that in front of all her friends. And I think to see the look on her face and to see the sincerity of how she felt in front of her friends. Because I think I remember one of her friends looking at her like, "That's your son. You not gonna let him come back." But my mother was stern to that fact. So I had to figure it out. I had to figure it out. I had to live with friends. I mean, I had a girlfriend at the time. Her mother would work um, at night from 11 to 7 in the morning, so I would go over there and stay the night. And there was a couple of times where she paged me and she was like, "Dre, my mother ain't going to work. I had to sleep outside. I had to sleep in a grocery store bathroom, stuff like that." And going through that begin to displace me as a person. Those nurturing feelings that you get from your parents, were displaced. So I began to get hardened. Like how to excuse my language, but how the fuck you gonna have me out here by myself and having to scramble and scrape to find my way at 17 years old and never having to worry about where my next meal coming from, where how I'm gonna live, where I'm gonna lay my head. I never had to experience that. And then to have to go through that, it began to harden me. It began to make me emotionless person. So when I found my way and I went into the military probably about a year and a half later, all those things that I experienced sleeping outside, being hungry. I remember eating little Debbie cakes just to survive and just being angry at my mother and just being angry at the situation and it just hardened me. So when I reflect back to those moments, I never dealt with that. I've never dealt with that. So when God gave me a woman that that I asked for. Y'all got to pay attention to this. Fellas, pay attention to this. When God gave me a woman that I asked for, she was requiring things that nobody had ever required out of me. You know, why aren't you close to your family? Why aren't you affectionate? Why aren't you able to tell me how you feel? Um, just why are you, so intense all the time? And never really understanding that I've lived my life this way for so long and not realizing that it ain't wrong how I was living. It's what I had to grow into. I had to create when I didn't have my mom to call and I didn't have my father to call for advice. I had to create situations. So if it's like OJT, on the job training, if there's a situation about a chick and I can't go to my mom and talk to, or I can't go to my father and talk to, I deal with it from, on the job training. Whatever I felt like was necessary to deal with that chick, then that's what I did. Whatever I had to say, I didn't have no reference to reflect to. So all these things became like I created my own way of thinking. I've created my own way of doing. And I became so cluttered in my hardness. And it was just always I was a it was funny, I was very, very jokative. I was always comedically funny, just having fun to a degree, but I would always go back to the seriousness. And only my closest friends knew, like, Dre, I would be close with them, laugh. But when I was in a relationship, nobody required for me to be like, yo, why are you so intense? Why you can't say these words? Or why are you like this? Or why are you like that? Nobody required that of me. So the way that I was with women, if no woman said, hey, I'm not accepting you being this intense individual or hardened or whatever, then the show goes on. So when you meet somebody, men, when you meet somebody, as I did, that I asked for, and all the qualities of what you need are missing from the woman that you wanted, it becomes a problem. And for me, it became a problem. Like being intense, being intense, and even with driving sometimes, having a little bit of road rage and just being always intense. And the one thing that I was consistently missing was the nurturing from my family. And that shaped me. That shaped me, and it just put me in a clay mold. So I wasn't comfortable with saying to a woman, I miss you. I wasn't able to say that. But I could be feeling it, but I wasn't able to say that. See, a lot of guys out here have gone through the same trauma I have and have adjusted to the trauma. And when I mean adjusted, you haven't got rid of the trauma. I didn't get rid of the trauma. I just adjusted to it. And my way of adjusting was, yeah, yeah, you know how I feel about you type thing. Or, yeah, I love you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it became that way, which nobody said that ain't what you need to be. Nobody stepped up to the plate in any relationship that I was in that said, nah, that ain't cool not to be cool with your family. Nah, that ain't cool to be as intense. No, you can't be what you mean you can't be affectionate to me. So fellas, when you get somebody that you may have either run into or in a relationship or you ask for, and you missing all these key components of how to get back to that woman, shit gonna happen. If you can't mirror back what your woman is giving you, it's gonna go left. It's gonna go left. So if a woman's telling you, I love you, I love you dearly. But there's elements about you that you have to change. And that's when a lot of relationships or a lot of guys get lost, because a lot of guys ain't willing to look in themselves and say, yeah, I fucked up. Yeah, I'm fucked up. Because that word saying you fucked up means to people you crazy or you got issues. You know, these words that they use, you got issues, you crazy. Oh, what the fuck is going on with your mind? When you put those words against yourself, it makes you feel like, I ain't crazy, whatever. But when you look at those words that apply to you because of the trauma that you've been through, because God damn it, man, I've been through some trauma. I seen things that I shouldn't have been, that shouldn't have seen. I seen a lot at a young age. And so that becomes a visual in your brain. And it becomes like, it's one thing to be nurtured by good people. Let me say this. It's one thing to be nurtured by good people and your parents and everything, and they continue to go on as you get older to continue to nurture you and nurture you. But there's an opposite end to that spectrum of the opposite nurturing. The streets may have nurtured you. You may have seen things with friends that nurture you that wasn't great. You may have seen things unnecessarily that nurture you in the wrong way. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of us guys have been nurtured in the wrong way. And we thinking we treating our women top flight. So what, you took your woman out to dinner and it cost such and such and yeah, everything was cool. But how much time did you spend talking to her during dinner? These are the things that I'm understanding now. See, now the thing about me is I was always willing to say, I'll improve. Because the woman that loves you, if you really love her and you know she's the one, that what she's saying to you will make you look at yourself. And every time she said, Dre, look, and even if it meant her leaving, it did something to me. And it made me want to continue to change. But I never had the tools. I never had the tools to say, whatever happened in the past is the past. Just let it go. I had a conversation. Oof, man, this is tough. I had a conversation with my. I don't even. I don't even. It don't even sound right calling her my ex, because I don't want to use that word. I want to just say things are happening right now, and in the hope that we come back together. I had a conversation with her mother, and her mother said, "Dre, mm, mm. She said, Dre, you got to forgive your mother, and you got to forgive your father, whether you say it out loud because that's how you want to, and even though your mother's not here, you can say it how you want to her. You can say it to your father, but you got to forgive. You got to, in order for you to get to a place where you say, I'm in the moment of being happy. I don't care if that's whatever's going on over there. I don't care what they do. I'm in the moment. I'm happy. I want to, and if you want to be in a moment with your woman and saying, yo, I'm happy with my woman, and I can express that. I can have a conversation with my woman, and we damn a social media and being able to just express those things, man. I don't know if most dudes that have trauma who hasn't dealt with that, they don't even know what that feels like. To know what it feels like to say, I'm free of any past trauma that has affected me in my relationships, with my family, or with friends. I am willing to let it go because I've come a long way. I've come a long way. I've been blessed. I've blessed people. I don't want to be angry. And her mother was just telling me that. And the funny thing about that conversation with her mother, some things happen for an unfortunate, a reason. Unfortunately, had we not split, that conversation with her mother would probably have never happened, because I would have still been in the mindset of holding on to certain things, holding on to the past relationships, uh, anger, or holding on to little things that my mother, just like being kicked out the house, even though my mother was a great mother, holding on to all these things that prevent me from just being free. That conversation would have never happened. It's like you. It's like you only. It's like if you were raised and only thing you had to eat day in and day out was rice. That's all you had was rice. That's all you knew was rice. How would you know a hamburger exists? How would you know fries exist? How would you know, a cake exists, pastas and all? How would you know that exists? How would your mind be able to create something that you don't even know exists? So that conversation with her mother, I wouldn't have been able to think outside of myself and my selfishness of how I was to even go have a conversation with her mother. That conversation was life changing for me, because when you know you good to your core, when you know you good to your core and you got people around you that's like, we love you, man. Come on. Let that go. So you can be the best person you can be to yourself first. And then that stretches out to the people that you love, whether it's your father, your mother, your uncles, your brothers, your girl, your friends. But so many of us men out here are saying, man, I do what I got to do. I make sure she gets good sex at night, and I pay for this and I pay for that. But I guarantee if most of y'all, if somebody was to sit down and ask your woman, is he doing everything he needs to do to nurture this relationship, to nurture you as a man? I mean, as a woman, is he doing everything that touches home with you? I'm almost certain all the women would not say yes, he is. But we too arrogant and we too pompous to understand that. And I'm telling you, when your woman that you love leaves, whether it's for a week or months or whatever, and you have no idea that she's ever coming back, hey man, you witness a lot of things that you did that you wish you can change. That you wish you can change. And my problem was I was too stuck in the consistency of 20 plus 30 years ago. Who the fuck wants to walk around being upset or intense? Imagine somebody looking at you like this all the time, like, yo, nigga. Who wants to be like that? Who wants to be like this all the time? Who wants to be a closed fist all day, every day with your woman? Nah, man. Women don't operate like that. And I've learned so much in this process. I've learned so much of how to be okay with saying, I used to this is funny, and this is me being transparent. This is me trying to help guys understand look at the things that you may be doing, and look at the things that you may not be doing. I used to when I couldn't find a parking space, I would get irritated. I would get irritated, and it would kind of spill over. And she would be like, it's okay." But I was already at a point where I'm like, I can't find no goddamn parking space. When you letting stuff like that irritate you, you're not living in the moment. Because if you had to drop your woman off at whatever place that y'all going to and drive up the street and walk to where she's at, cool. But I wasn't doing that. I was ruining the moment off a damn parking space. Understanding this, we as men want to, man, we as men want to protect, those real men want to protect their women from outside forces, from harm, from anything. But what I understand is this. What I understand is, y'all listen to this. Sometimes we need to protect our woman from us, ourselves. Sometimes you need to protect your woman from you. And I understand that I wasn't protecting my woman from me and how I thought and how I acted sometimes and how my feelings of intenseness would rub off, would, cloud, make her feel a certain way. So fellas, you may think that you may think that you have it all sewn up, but and some of you may have. But if you got any past traumas that affects how you treat your lady, look into yourself. I've been going to therapy for, this would be my second appointment. And as soon as she left, it hurt me. And I realized everything that she said, me not showing her affection, um, me not showing her affection when I would see her, just not telling her how much I love her and miss her, being stuck in a place to not be able to say that is hurtful. Even though you're not trying to be, it's hurtful. So going to therapy allows me to, go back and reflect on the things that caused that, and then to remove that, and to try to remove all of that hurt and rough edges and unnourishing nurturing that I didn't get. I gotta let it go. I had to let it go because I want to be in a relationship with this person that nourishes our relationships and our minds, and utmost nourishes her. I shouldn't have to protect myself. I shouldn't have to protect her from myself. All the protecting I need to do should be dedicated to anybody that's trying to infiltrate our relationship or our home or whatever. But I should never have to protect my woman from myself. And I don't mean no physical, nothing like that. But it's certain things that therapy has allowed me to see. I journal now. I'm learning how to journal. Most people don't realize that journaling helps you reflect back to how you were feeling that day to be able to give you a perspective on how to improve. I'm journaling every day, sometimes 3, 4 times a day, and I put the time and date next to it, and so I can say, damn, on this day, this is how I felt. But in the short time, I've learned so much from just separation. Separation sometimes would allow you to say, damn, I fucked up. And sometimes God will allow you to fix those situations and get better. Huh? A lot of men don't want to get better. And a lot of women are afraid to tell uh, their partner, hey, listen, I love you, but these things are hurting me and hurting the relationship, and having enough understanding and empathy towards what she's saying. And man, I'm learning that. And I couldn't have been more wronger for so many years than I've ever been. And so now for me, I work on stuff every day. I work on, the therapy helps. I'm conscious of how to, make sure she used to always say, you got nice teeth. Why don't you show your teeth? I'm like, oh man, I'm working on smiling more. I'm working on being less intense. I'm working on when I have a phone conversation and it's not going the way that I want it to go, to tell myself to remain calm. I understand what's going on, why it's going on. I'm learning to live in the moment. I'm learning to appreciate everything that has been given to me in the way that it has. I've learned to appreciate life a lot more. I learned to appreciate friends. I learned to appreciate the things that we call little. The things that I was doing, like I think the biggest thing that I was trying to do is capture every time me and her would go out, capture that moment on video. I got to put it on video. But what I understand now is, nah, man, I need to talk. I need to pay more attention to her. I need to pay more attention to what she's saying. I want to have intimacy while we talking. Damn a social media at dinner. What was our conversation like? How did I touch her? Did I rub her back? Did I let her know that I'm here? Did I let her know she's attractive? Did I give some kind of, did I convey something to her that let her know I'm in your undivided attention? I'm in your undivided attention. Damn the social media. And once I know that I've given her, yeah, I could pick up, a picture or two. But we have gotten in the mode, even myself, that you want to just show, you want to have a time capsule. Man, listen, if there ever comes a time where I'm able to show her again, listen, the phone would never be more important than the conversation with my lady. I understand that more than ever. And I think a lot of guys, um, when you when we've been with somebody, we forget that, you know, keep doing the things that how you got them. Keep doing the things that makes them smile. Keep doing the things that makes them love you. Keep doing the things that make them be safe with you. Another one of my things was stability. You know, when you going through certain things, you like, man, fuck that, I'm out. That was my thing. Fuck that, I'm out. And not trying to understand, that doesn't give that individual stability. The conversation that you have with them about the issues, even if you got to bring somebody in that conversation, that helps you let yourself listen to what that person's saying, and helps them hear what you're saying. That's what brings stability out, that you can fix things in a fashion that is amicable and appreciated for both parties. And I wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing that. Doing things for a reaction. That ain't no man. A lot of people have different podcasts and a lot of people have different shows, and they talking about what they've done and how to be a man and all this stuff. But yo, being a man, being a man takes different, the way you talk, the way you interact, the way you move, the way you respond is important. It's important what you bring to the table with people and with your relationships, and especially your partner, how you handle situations and how you move and how you talk and how calm you are means a lot. One of my friends, and I'm not gonna say his name, he's like a big. I remember one time he told me he's like a big. I call it, he gangster. He's not somebody you want to fool with. He's not somebody you want to fool with. If you do, if you approach him the wrong way, or you got slick at the mouth or something, he's not one for just talking. And I've known him all, like, for the whole time I've been in Florida, 16 years. And what he said to me is, "Yo, I love to cuddle with my woman. I love the cuddle time with my woman." And I said, "Huh?" He said, "Yeah, man." I said, "But you some big gangster." He said, "Nah, bro. Nah. I love the time with my woman. I love to cuddle with my woman. I love to be around my woman. My woman is my best friend. So and I don't have to be gangster with her. I don't have to put on this bravado with her because I love being around her." So when I heard him say that, who am I to tell myself that cuddling? See, I used to think cuddling, like the word cuddling, it sounded fairyish. And I don't mean no disrespect, but it is what it is. The word at that time for me was like cuddle. What do you mean? But when you're a man, that word doesn't mean anything more than you want to be next to your woman. You want to spend time with her. So forget how the word sounds. It's the action that you're doing that puts your relationship in a better place, man. And I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to make sure that, she's in a place with me that, like, yo, I'm here for you. I want to kiss you. I want to touch you. I want to do all of that. And I'm learning that. I'm learning that through therapy. So the what I'm trying to explain to a lot of guys out here, even though I'm going through something right now, the things that I'm doing to get better is I'm not letting my ego interfere with the progress. I'm not letting my ego interfere with getting better. I'm not letting my ego affect my growth. Because you can see, listen, you can look in this camera and see, oh yeah, Dre, he cool. Man, that shit hurts when somebody of value that you ask God for ain't around you right now, or ain't around you. That hurts. And I'm not gonna let no ego interfere with how to get better as a person and hopes to have, just come across better to people and come across better to the lady that I want. Come on, guys, man. Stop walking around with these egos like you can't improve. Ask your woman. Because that's what I didn't ask mom. What can I do? What do you need from me? What do you need from me? And hear what she's saying. A lot of us do things for our woman that we think they want, never hearing what they want. Never hearing, huh? What do you need? I never asked her that. What do you need from me? In an immediate situation, what do you need from me? And I'll do it. So going to therapy, having a conversation with her mother, having a conversation with friends, understanding that if people that's around me are doing these things and they're protecting and they're nurturing their relationship, who in the fuck am I not to follow lead? So all you guys out here that's beating your chest, oh man, my woman, we have good sex. And yeah, man, I pay this bill and I pay that bill and I bought her this purse and I bought her these shoes and I took her here. But ask your woman, what does she need from you? And I guarantee you, for the women that have deep substance, that bag that you bought her, yeah, it's okay. Those shoes that you bought her, yeah, they cool. That trip you took her on, y'all enjoyed yourselves. Those bills you paying, great. But did you ever ask her what she really needed? And that's when people like me have to understand, yo, ask your woman what she needs so you're not off track. So you're not mistaking or you're not thinking what she or assuming. Ego should never be involved when you with somebody you love, man. And whatever kind of trauma, like me, when you had trauma, like I've understand this. I understand now, just like me and my dad and my stepmother are back. I called them up, probably a couple weeks ago, and they were happy to hear from me and just talking. I realized that I need my family. I have my brother, but I need to socialize with my father. I need to hear his voice and we talk and we converse, just like he needs to hear that from me. And that makes me better. I'm not angry because things, your family's intact. And I'm also realizing that not having my mother alive has affected me. I never thought about that until a couple of days ago. My mother, not being able to ask her questions, not being able to see her face, not being able to touch her and give her a kiss on her face, and not being able to go home and chill with her and just listen to her and let her see me at this age and my brother at his age, it's affected me. So in that affecting me, I have to look at it what it is and say, you still gotta keep moving, but you can't harbor that. That should never be a reason why you don't treat yourself at the best level. That way you treat the person you with at the best level. I have never, and every guy that can hear this video, or every woman that can hear this video, I have never ever given myself the best of me. And I go hard with the gym, work, just doing things, everything. But I've never given myself the best of me. So how in the hell could I ever give somebody the best of me if I ain't never did it? So learn that in therapy is that by letting all things go, that past things. I live in the present. So anything that's in the past should not be up and in the present and affecting how I am with people. And as soon as that drops off, as soon as I say I can live in the moment, I can touch you, I can tell you how I love you, I can be in the moment with you. I cannot be angered by stupidity. I can be as affectionate. I can think long before I say something crazy out of my mouth. I can think before I say it and know that it should not just affect, it should be a way of when I talk to a person or I tell them how I feel, it should not make that person feel like shit. When I can drop all that off, when that's being dropped off, I'm clear. I'm clear. I can be 100% Dre. I've never, ever, I don't care how many fun nights I done had, a lot of stuff that I done did, whatever. I've never, never been able to be 100% Dre. So to be able to shed that skin fully, I don't even know what that's going to feel like. It's probably going to be euphoria. It's probably going to be euphoria. So the person that I was prior to this situation is dead. And one of my friends said, "Yo, you don't want to change too much. You don't want to change too much where you're not even recognized. Nah, I'm changing the things that plagued my life and plagued relationships. That's something that I'm getting rid of. There's no way in hell I would want to look my, woman in the eye and say, I can't tell you how I feel. But inside of me, it's this like a dog wagging the tail, like she don't know how happy I am to see it, but I can't say it. How long you think she gonna be able to do that? Or I can't put this phone down because I just gotta capture the moment, but I'm not paying attention to nothing she's saying. I'm here with her, but I'm not here with her. How long you think she gonna deal with that? Being intimate with your woman and then realizing you can't hold her when you're done and you roll over, but she wants to hold you. How long you think she gonna deal with that? Not being able to really be the person that you need to be, that your woman looks forward to. So any guy that you can look back and say, damn man, I'm not 100% of me either, Dre. Takes a lot of courage to say that. Takes a lot of courage to look at yourself and say, shit, man. But it's not a lot of us that's willing to do that. It's not a lot of us willing to say, man, I got some issues. Because when people say to themselves or to other people, man, I got some issues, you think that translates to other people. You crazy. You are fucked up. Nah, in actuality, it's telling somebody you want help to be better. It's only the foolish people who think, oh, that he crazy or she crazy. The best health you can be in is mental health. And everything from that point on gets better, man. It gets better. So stop being afraid to look at yourself in the mirror because your woman could be mirroring back at you what you need to be. I know mine was. Everything she was, everything she is. It was as if God said, here's the woman, but here's the woman that you need and that you asked for. But you got to be ready. You got to get yourself together because she's in the family. She loves her family. You better learn to love yours. You better learn to love and appreciate your family. She is a very upbeat, positive person. You got to be as upbeat as you put across. she's very, very affectionate, you're gonna have to learn how to use your hands, man. Put your hands on your woman. She likes that. Touch her. You're allowed to. You're gonna have to learn to let things and live in the moment. Put the damn phone down. Put it down and live in the moment and learn how to talk and speak and give that woman stability. Stop running. She used to say that all the time. Why are you running? Stability is what 9 out of 10 women want. Not just financial. I've understood a lot in the past 3 weeks. And like I said, the person that I was is dying off. So anybody out here, I'm wrapping this up. Anybody out here, any guy out here, ask your woman, what does she need? Stop assuming. And if she tells you something that she needs, look at within yourself and say, am I giving this to, am I really giving that? If I'm not giving that, am I capable of doing that? And if I'm not capable of doing that, why? Why? And when you can't come up with the answer of why you are incapable of doing something as small as showing your woman how much you love her, kissing her, holding her, all these things, if you're incapable like I was, guess what? You got issues that if you actually went and talked to somebody about, you can get better. You can get better. So this conversation, man, I hope to God that it lets you know that as a person, I'm being transparent. I'm not just some guy on the screen that's just talking. You know, I don't have all the answers. Hell, nah. Because if I did, I wouldn't be in the situation I'm in now with her. So allow yourself, men and women, I hope you share this with your men. If there's things that your man is not doing that you need, I'm not talking about let's get it straight, because I know, sometimes things can be misconstrued. I'm not talking about he needs to go, well, he hasn't bought me a $80 purse or bought me a $7,000 purse or whatever. No, I'm not talking about nothing dumb like that. I'm talking about if something about you that your man is not giving you emotionally, that you need, and you love this guy and you want to be around him, tell him. Tell him. Give him the opportunity. Be direct with him. Be direct with that individual. Say whatever you need to say. As long as if he knows, give him the opportunity to know. And that way, if he's really the man that you want and that you say he is, he will change. And that's important. But women, tell these men emotionally, how can they be there for you? What can they do? What do you need from him? Because I'm telling you, if it wasn't for this situation, and God has a way of, he has a way of doing things that's unconventional, that will make you get better if you have the courage to do so. So women, listen to this. Please share this and understand, if you want certain things emotionally from your man, don't be afraid to tell him. Don't be afraid to tell him, because, and guys, a lot of us have traumas in our lives that we experienced 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that prevented us from being the best person that they could be to themselves and to their relationship and to people around them. And I'm telling you, When I look back at my journal, when I get an opportunity to look back at my journal, it's going to say a lot. It's going to say a lot and it's going to mean a lot because the person that I was is dying off in a good way. I appreciate everybody paying attention to this or listening to this conversation and our podcast. I want you to like, subscribe, and comment. And people, don't be afraid. Black people, especially, don't be afraid. Don't be too macho or too tough and all that to go get help. That's what it is. You go get help when you need to find out information. You need help when you go. Help should be a good word. But people put it in a derogatory sense when it comes to mental health. So those of y'all who have these triggers and these things that you know come from the past and it affects you now, get your ass up off your shoulders and get out of your feelings and go do that. Go get better. So you can be better for you, your family, your woman, and your life. Again, I thank everybody. I appreciate you for chiming in. Like, subscribe, and comment. And tell me what you feel about this episode. And it's me being transparent. I think it's another part of just getting better because I would have never said none of this on a podcast, let alone in a conversation. Thank you, everybody. Motivation.